This recording is a KJLW 42 Productions for YouTube and your listening entertainment. Enjoy these very rare recordings recorded by Jason Funny when he was 17 years old, mostly the summer of 1992. Old radio music and radio shows that I hope that you will enjoy. Here we go.
I'm betting everything I've got on you. I'm giving all my love to one, baby. Lord help me if my baby don't come through. I've got a strange big amount. It's up in my leather phone. On the end I've decided love divided in two. Won't do. So I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. I'm betting everything I've got on you. Here is Mr. Sheffield's latest song to the Americans. I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. I'm betting everything I've got on you. I'm giving my British Empire to you, Yankee. Lord help me if my victory won't come true. I've spent a great big amount. Gone is my lovely bank account. Yankee, I've decided your dollars must be divided in two, or I'm through. So I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. I'm betting everything I've got on you.
They called it the Middle Ages because no one was able to walk home unless he was between two other guys. Our fellow said that. I was usually a middle guy, but through the years, enlightenment came, and with it control of spirituous fermenti. That's the proper pronunciation. The first instance of federal authority in this country was when George Washington put down the whiskey rebellion. and Pennsylvania. And people have been putting down the vile stuff ever since. Now, before I go any further, please do not labor under the misconception that I have always been a teetotaler. My younger days, I was prone to take a nip. I chortle now at my former weakness in my otherwise strong character. But how well I remember my first encounter with the devil's brew. I happened to stumble across a case of bourbon. Went right on stumbling for several days after. Of course, now I touch nothing stronger than buttermilk. 90% buttermilk. However, I come from a very illustrious family. My grandfather was a friend of Benjamin Franklin. In fact, my grandfather would have discovered electricity, but he was too poor to buy a kite. He had to go out and hire one. I have a picture of him now at home, standing in front of the town tavern. He was hiring a kite. Much higher. My heart bleeds when I think that right at this moment, throughout our fair land, thousands of misguided souls are hitting the bottle. Change pages. My friends, you set a bottle of beer in front of a pig, and you'll grunt and walk away. So should you. Or would you rather be a duck? Remember, the joys of alcohol are fleeting, and the toll is terrible. Back in my rummy days, I would tremble and shake for hours upon arriving. The only exercise I got. A man who overindulges lives in the dream. He becomes conceited. He thinks the world revolves around him, and it usually does. So, friends, my advice to you is to abstain. Break all the bottles in your possession. Don't say now that you can't swear off drinking. It's easy. I've done it 1,000 times. Since the blackout blue, I hear the evening sun go down. Hear the evening sun go down. Cold the German, he's done from this town. Feeling tomorrow, today, feeling tomorrow, like I feel today.
pack my train, make my getaway. That took the dead man with his walk and sing. Who tossed round by his apron string. Some forget to and his bloody word. I wouldn't feel yet, oh doggone sword. Got the blackout blues, yeah, blue as I can see. Got men got a heart like a rough coffin. What, I said, what did you got on it?
Here he is, the one, the only. Well, here I am again with a chance for each of our couples to win up to $10,000. And if any of them say the secret word, they'll win an extra $100. George, who's first?
Sanita Pelkey is waiting to talk to you now. And her partner is a special guest, one of the best-known names in the world of bridge, Mr. Charles Gorin. So, folks, you go in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to your Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide it. This isn't going to be easy, this next one.
I didn't expect you'd say hello to me, Groucho.
I had no intention of saying hello to you. In fact, you can leave now, as far as I'm concerned. Welcome to your Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide an extra $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. And brother, that isn't all you have. Mr. Goring, I'm glad to see you.
Thank you. I'm glad I was noticed. Took long while.
That's the last time I'll look at you tonight. Mr. Gorin, I'm impressed. You up here, your name is a household word among millions of bridge players. But don't let that go to your head. Because Drano is a household word, too. Now then, what kind of pinochle do you play?
As a matter of fact, I was weaned on pinochle.
You were?
That was my first game.
Is that so? We use milk in our house. Well, we'll cross that bridge after I tilt to this little tootsie over here. What is it?
Sanita.
Oh, Sanita. Well, that's a very pretty name. And you're a very pretty girl. Does your name have any translation?
Well, Groucho, it means health or healthy, something like that.
I picked the right name for you, Sanita. If I ever saw anyone who was bursting with health, this is it. How do you account for this large amount of beauty and health?
Well, Groucho, I think it's sports and good eating habits.
You mean a lot of sports that filled you up with a lot of food? Is that it?
Well,
What are some of your good eating habits? Can you eat peas with a knife?
no, but I eat liver and yogurt for breakfast every morning.
What a schweinerei, huh? Yogurt and liver? You know, it's bad enough to have to get up in the morning and look at the morning paper without having to stare at yogurt and liver besides. Why do you eat yogurt and liver?
Well, Groucho, yogurt and liver have a lot of B vitamins, and most people lack B vitamins.
You don't lack anything, kid. I'll come back to you very quickly. I'll call you Tommy, is that right?
Well, it's all right, except that if you call me Charlie, I'm more apt to answer to it, because that happens to be my name.
Oh, Charlie. Wow. You said yogurt and liver, and that's the secret word. So you get $50, and Tiny Tim gets $50. Charlie, you look very familiar. Did we ever meet before?
Yes, we did, a great many years ago, and I don't want to reveal the length of time it's been.
Oh, I don't mind.
You don't?
I've lost her anyhow.
But you remember I'll Say She Is?
Yes, I do. I'm still using the jokes in those days. Were you in that show? Were you a chorus boy in that show?
No, but my favorite partner was a chorus girl in one of your later shows, Coconut.
That's so.
Her name now is Helen Silver. She's the greatest woman bridge player in the world. But at that time, her
She
name
was a chorus girl in the
She was a
Coconut?
chorus girl in the Coconut.
Well, how did we meet? I don't remember.
Well,
I was backstage to see your
I was
Inarada.
supposed to teach you and your brother to play bridge.
What happened?
Well, I mentioned in passing right at the start that bridge was played with a deck consisting of 52 cards, at which point you rose and said that's as much as you could absorb in one lesson, and now you were
Well, it's true. I can't concentrate that long. The only game I like to play is Old Maid. Provided she isn't too old. Where are you from, Chuck?
Well, you might
Charlie.
say I'm from Philadelphia.
What did you do there?
Well, I received my elementary education there, and I left Philadelphia long enough to go up to Canada to get further education, and I was indiscreet enough to study law, and I became a lawyer.
And then you went back to Philadelphia and you were a Philadelphia lawyer. Huh? Well, is it true what they say about Philadelphia lawyers?
I don't know. What do they say about Philadelphia lawyers?
He's a Philadelphia lawyer, all right. How old are you, Charlie?
I'm 56.
56. How long have you been married?
I haven't been married yet, but I haven't given up hope.
Have you given up Crosby? You really prefer solitaire to honeymoon bridge? How about a romance with Anita?
Well,
Would you like it? Wouldn't you like to marry her?
I certainly would, any minute. But I have an idea she has one or two boyfriends lurking in the wings.
How old are you, Sunit? I'll call you Sunit, eh?
Sonny,
Sonny?
21.
Married?
No.
You play bridge?
No, I don't. I play gin rummy and Chinese checkers.
Chinese checkers, you play? Would you like to forget gin rummy and Chinese checkers and learn to play a real game?
Yes.
How would you like to learn to play from the world's greatest authority?
Well, I'd like Mr. Gorham to teach me bridge very much.
Who's talking about Goran? What's more important, who's talking about bridge? Anita, I pride myself on being able to guess occupations. I've been doing it so long. And I'd say offhand that you're a differential calculus teacher at Caltech. Is that right? Is that right?
No, Groucho.
You're not?
No. I'm a dancer and a showgirl for Moulin Rouge.
Moulin Rouge. Well, that's a very fine place. What do you do there?
Well, I actually walk around with an hour-shaped figure dress.
You just walk around? This is your entire occupation?
At the present, yes.
An hourglass dress, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Must be the early part of the hour, huh? Sunita, have you done any modeling?
Yes, I have, Groucho.
You won any contests?
Yes, that also. I've been Miss New York State this year in the Universe pageant, and I've been Miss Smiles, Miss St. George, Miss National Salami, Miss Potato Salad.
You were Miss National Salami? Well, is that anything like Miss Potato Salad? Or did you get them both together?
No, they were separate.
All you needed was
contests.
coffee, huh? Well, what was this? You say you were Miss National Salami. Have you ever hung in a delicatessen window? Well, Charlie, besides marking cards and dealing from the bottom of the deck, just what do you do to keep busy?
Well, I've got lots to do to keep me busy. I have a daily column that I write for 200 papers around the country. I usually have a book that I'm revising. I've recently taken on the bridge feature of Sports Illustrated magazine.
Oh. Well, what is your latest book called?
Called Contract Bridge Complete. That is the new Contract Bridge Complete.
Yeah. Have you ever had a perfect hand?
Yes, George. Yes. But I had it in the days, I had it rather as a...
When you were going with that chorus girl, you mean?
Yes. As a matter of fact, it was before that time. There was a type of game we called goulash. So I actually had it in the
Well,
movie.
there's a Hungarian in the audience here tonight. And at the word of goulash, he starts frothing at the mouth, and you got to be very careful.
Well, I had to be careful to tell him I had 13 clubs in one hand and never got a chance to bid.
How come?
Because it was up to 7 spades before it got round to me.
Now, is this clear to you? Well, Anita, you've heard a lot about bridge, and I'll be honest. Which do you prefer, bridge or Chinese checkers?
I think I still like Chinese checkers.
Why?
Well, Groucho, it only takes 2 people to play it, and
Anita, I happen to know another game that you can play. Suppose some evening I called on you, Anita, and I warned you, I know nothing about Chinese checkers. Now, what would we do?
well, Groucho, you have a large bird, and it's full of holes, and each man...
You're describing me like a piece of Swiss cheese.
Each man has 10 marbles, and the object of the game is to get your marbles on the other side of the board before you do.
Look, if I called on you some evening and I spent all my time playing Chinese checkers, you can be sure of one thing. I've certainly lost all my marbles. Well, it's been fun having Mr. Bridge on the show tonight, to say nothing of having Miss National Salami. Let's play You Bet Your Life. Now, you selected as your category salami and potato salad.
At this point, I'd like to beg leave to check out and give my position to some young, deserving man that I improve his state in life.
That's very nice. Now, is there a deserving young man in the audience? Is there a sailor or a soldier or somebody to come up here and pinch hit? What about an usher? Come on, Kovacs, get on your feet there.
Well, Groucho, if Ernie Kovacs is coming up here, I think we'd better pause while we have a chance and take care of some important business. We'll be back in just 1 minute to continue You Bet Your Life.
Someone probably told you Wednesday was best shopping day in the newspaper. So you put an ad there. And so did everyone else, including all the mega billion-dollar companies who take the whole page and swallow your little ad like a great white shark devouring a small reef fish. It's not a pretty sight. No wonder they say newspapers black and white and red all over. The red is from all the poor little ads getting annihilated. So what's a little guy to do? You could hire someone to carry a sign, walk around in traffic, and talk to everyone who passes by. But people probably wouldn't hear them over their car radios. Hey, there's an idea. Advertise on the radio. People will hear you. You'll be one-on-one with me, the consumer.
show. Tiny, I'm glad to see you, huh? This is, Mr. Warren, Mr. Kovac.
I never thought I'd have the honor of having such a distinguished stand-in.
And Miss Perry, Miss Perry, Mr. Kovac, and Mr. Fenneman. Never mind that. Okay, well, I don't mind Fenneman. You like it.
Thank you.
Now, you selected as your category hieroglyphics. Is that right?
God, I was sitting up there. I don't know.
Your partner here selected medical drawings. She figured this would be something that... All right, I'm going to ask you some questions. If you miss 2 in a row...
Liver and yogurt?
If you get 4 in a row right, it'll be a miracle. That's all I got. Now, Laney, if you win any money, what are you going to do with it?
Well, I have a very pet organization in mind. This is the Save the Children Federation that I have.
Well, don't you regard Sunita as a pet?
Well, I mean, if you want to double the money, you can split it with the kids.
Did you see him in Mad Ball? Pretty funny, I know, right? Well, you see around and you haven't seen it, go see it because he's wonderful and it's a very funny picture. Are you ready? Here we go around the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush, mulberry bush. Tell me when we do it. When do you go around the mulberry bush?
Early in the morning.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's cold and
I didn't
horsey.
even know that, to be honest with you. I didn't know that.
Well, you don't have to be honest with me. You never have up to now.
You have one right.
Thanks.
You bet.
Would you like to have a big dialogue? What did little Jack Horner pull out of his Christmas pie in addition to his thumb? A plum.
I'd rather not say.
Plum. She knew. Hey, she's making a plum out of you.
A plum, that's right.
You now have 2 rights.
We now have 2 right.
Yeah. Who went to see Silver Buckles at his knee?
That's a darn good question.
Yes, it is, huh? Anybody out there? Hello out there.
Do you know that? Let's try, what's the one with the pussycat and the boots and all that jazz?
That comes much later. Huh?
Oh, right.
Well, this is Bobby Shafto. Bobby Shafto. I think he's an agent. He handles some matter.
Is this the answer, Bobby?
I'm somewhere there.
I've never heard of this in my life.
Me either.
Have you?
Now, in what rhyme?
You have 1 wrong now.
I know that. I know that.
I'm afraid he's a kind of a sadistic mind he has.
First time he smiled when we got one wrong, too, I think.
I look like he's going to do plenty of laughing here tonight. In the rhyme, 1, 2, buckle my shoe. What rhymes with 9, 10?
6 times 8.
2 right? 1 wrong. 1 right. All right, now this is the cinch.
Yeah.
Some like these porridge hot, some like it cold. Now, how do the others like it?
In a pot, knife, you want to take
Days
it?
old.
Okay,
How many have we got right now?
2 right.
2 right.
2 right.
Why did Pussycat go to London? It's kind of silly.
Is there any particular pussycat?
Pussycat, where
To see the Jack of Spades or the Queen. Well, the Queen.
that's right, yes.
The Queen.
You now have 3 rights.
Is it right? If it's not right, I retract it.
That's right.
That's right. I stand. Now, here's some of the coup de grace. This knocks you flat.
Incredible leaf speed.
Yes. Now, who saw Cock Robin die?
Wait a minute, let's be careful. Let's not rush into this. Does it have wings and 6 legs?
I know that. That's a garbage wagon. Who saw Cock Robin die?
I'm going to see if he has anything in his face when I do go with him. He smiles, but he's tricky.
I'm smiling. Your stupidity.
I said the fly with my little eye.
That's right. The fly is right. You don't have to go any further.
My eye.
You won
You
this
got 4
game.
in a row. You won $1,000.
100 sale and $1,000. It's dishonest, but since it's a counterfeit money, we don't care. It's $50 for you, and $50 for you.
Thank you. Great.
Now, thank you very much. Now, you win $1,000. You can keep it and quit, or else you can come back later and try to double your money. You may even get a chance at $10,000.
What president was this, Jim Clinton?
He made posts for the Army and Navy. You may even get a chance at $10,000, lady, so go over there and sit down.
I wouldn't know what to do with it. Who wants to go with her?
With Sunita.
Okay.
Now, think it over. If we don't see you later, I'll get in touch with Edie.
And that means Anita Pelkey and Ernie Kovacs can risk half of their winnings to try for $10,000. We'll get their decision in just a moment.
Warning. Self-destruct sequence activated. 3, 2, 1.